He created TV empires, interviewed legends, and built a billion-dollar brand. Merv Griffin was the man behind the curtain of American entertainment. But beneath the charm, fame, and fortune, there was one shadow that followed him to his grave. This is the story Hollywood never wanted you to know. Merv Griffin was a man who seemed to have everything. He wasn't just a television host, he was an empire builder. From creating game show juggernauts like Jeopardy! And Wheel of Fortune to hosting the Merv Griffin Show, where the biggest stars lined up to talk with him, Merv's influence on American television was undeniable. Charming, witty, and endlessly ambitious, he knew how to stay relevant for decades. He dined with presidents, traded jokes with icons like Lucille Ball and Frank Sinatra, and amassed a personal fortune that reached into the billions. But while Griffin controlled the public narrative of his life with precision, there was one secret he could never fully bury. A scandal that lingered in whispers, lawsuits, and tabloid headlines, one that cast a long, controversial shadow over his glittering legacy. For years, Merv Griffin's personal life was the subject of intense speculation. Despite being one of the most recognizable figures in entertainment, he remained fiercely private about one thing: his sexuality. During the mid-20th century, being openly gay in Hollywood was often a career-ending reality. And while Griffin never publicly came out, rumors swirled behind the scenes. In the 90s, those rumors took center stage when a pair of lawsuits threatened to reveal everything he'd tried to keep hidden. A former employee and longtime friend filed a palimony suit, alleging not just a romantic relationship with Griffin, but years of behind-the-scenes manipulation and secrecy. The suit was dismissed, but the questions didn't go away. What made the scandals so enduring wasn't just the content, it was the contradiction. Merv Griffin, the man who had built an empire on appearances and charm, was suddenly at the center of a media storm that challenged his carefully cultivated image. He never directly addressed the lawsuits or the allegations, choosing instead to say, famously, "I tell everyone I'm a quarter sexual. Any time I can get it, I take it." It was a clever line, but it was also a diversion. For many, it only added fuel to the mystery. And while the tabloids thrived on speculation, Griffin's silence left a vacuum that critics and fans alike filled with their own narratives. Behind closed doors, those close to Merv say he lived with the burden of a double life. In public, he was the affable host, the game show genius, the smiling face of family-friendly entertainment. In private, he may have carried the weight of a secret he felt he couldn't afford to share. Friends have since suggested that his silence wasn't shame, but survival. In a time when being openly gay could destroy careers, Merv chose his path carefully. He didn't just protect his legacy, he protected his empire. When he died in 2007, at the age of 82, Merv Griffin left behind a complicated story. He was eulogized as a television pioneer, a brilliant businessman, and a master of reinvention. Yet that one question, the one scandal that never fully disappeared, remained unresolved. And perhaps that's what makes his story so haunting. Not the scandal itself, but the silence around it. In a world obsessed with image, Merv Griffin perfected the art of the smile. But beneath it was a man who, despite having it all, may never have truly felt free to be himself. Now, nearly 2 decades later, we look back with new eyes. Not to judge, but to understand. Merv Griffin wasn't just a media mogul. He was a symbol of the times, of success, secrecy, and the silent cost of keeping certain truths locked away. The empire he built still stands. But the man behind it remains, in many ways, a mystery.